Have you ever thought about what it would feel like if your heart suddenly turned against you while you were completely alone? It's a terrifying idea. Sitting quietly at home, maybe reading, watching TV, or preparing a meal, and then out of nowhere, a wave of tightness, pressure, or strange pain begins to build in your chest. No one is around to notice. No one is there to rush to your aid. For many people, this is not just a scary thought experiment. It's reality. Every year, thousands of men and women suffer heart attacks while they are by themselves, and for too many of them, the lack of immediate action costs their lives. The common assumption is that there will be time, that the body will send a loud, unmistakable alarm, giving plenty of opportunity to call for help or get to a hospital. But the truth is, heart attacks rarely announce themselves with the drama seen in movies. More often, they begin quietly in ways that are easy to dismiss or misunderstand. And in those first few minutes, what you do or don't do makes all the difference. The encouraging news is that even if you live alone or spend most of your time without company, you are not helpless. There are very specific, proven actions you can take that dramatically increase your chances of surviving a heart attack long enough to get the medical care you need. These actions don't require special equipment, complicated knowledge, or anyone else's presence. All they require is awareness, presence of mind, and the willingness to take them seriously. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through 7 essential steps you can take if a heart attack strikes when you're alone. These steps may seem simple at first glance, but together they form a life saving chain. And the last ones are often the ones people forget, even though they might be the very reason you make it out alive. So stay with me until the end, because knowing these details now could be the single reason you or someone you love survives later. The very first key to survival is awareness, being able to recognize when a heart attack is actually happening. This is where most people go wrong. They expect a dramatic, crushing chest pain that drops them to the ground. But real heart attacks often begin in much quieter, subtler ways. Sometimes it feels like a dull pressure in the chest, as if someone placed a weight on your sternum. Other times it can mimic indigestion, heartburn, or even muscle strain. It may come and go, tricking you into thinking it isn't serious. But when the feeling lingers for more than a few minutes, or keeps returning in waves, it's a sign you can't afford to ignore. Along with chest discomfort, there are other signals too: breathlessness, even while sitting still, pain radiating into your left or right arm, your shoulder, your jaw, or even into your back, lightheadedness, sudden dizziness, nausea, or breaking into a cold sweat without explanation. For some women and older adults, the pain may feel more like pressure in the upper stomach or back than in the chest itself. Fatigue that feels crushing, even if you haven't exerted yourself, can also be a warning sign. Consider the experience of Thomas, a 72-year-old retired teacher. One evening, he felt a strange tightness across his chest while watching television. It wasn't sharp, just uncomfortable, almost like indigestion. He thought about brushing it off, but when he stood up to get water, he noticed he was short of breath and sweating. Instead of ignoring it, he remembered what his doctor once said. If you feel pressure and shortness of breath together, treat it as a heart attack until proven otherwise. That awareness led him to take action immediately, and later his cardiologist confirmed that his quick response likely saved his life. The lesson here is simple. The body often whispers before it screams. If you wait for the dramatic movie-style clutching of the chest, you may already be too late. Treat the subtle signs with the seriousness they deserve. Once you suspect a heart attack is beginning, your very next step must be to call for help immediately. Don't wait to see if it passes. Don't convince yourself you're overreacting, and don't think you can tough it out. Heart attacks are not something you can power through. The longer your heart muscle is deprived of oxygen, the more permanent the damage becomes. Calling emergency services is the most effective, life-saving action you can take. When you dial for help, paramedics begin preparing even before they arrive. They bring oxygen, medication, and equipment to keep you alive. And if your heart suddenly stops beating on the way to the hospital, they have the tools to restart it, something you cannot do for yourself. Too many people make the mistake of trying to drive themselves to the hospital. This is extremely dangerous. If you lose consciousness at the wheel, not only could you harm yourself, but you could cause an accident that endangers others. Let professionals come to you. It's what they are trained for. Think about Maria, a 79-year-old widow. She felt pressure spreading from her chest into her neck one morning. Her first instinct was to call her daughter. But then she remembered a nurse once telling her, "Always call emergency first, family later." She did, and when her daughter arrived at the hospital, Maria was already in treatment. That single decision saved precious minutes. If you live alone, make sure your phone is always within easy reach. Keep it on your nightstand, in your pocket, or in a central spot in your home. Most smartphones also have emergency shortcuts that can dial for help even when locked. Learn how yours works. Those few seconds can be crucial. And remember, emergency dispatchers will never scold you if it turns out to be something else. They would rather be called unnecessarily than miss a chance to save a life. After calling for help, one of the most powerful things you can do is chew an aspirin, not swallow, but chew. Chewing allows it to enter your system faster. Aspirin works by thinning your blood and slowing down clot formation, which is often the direct cause of heart attacks. By taking it quickly, you may help restore some blood flow to your heart before paramedics even arrive. Let's take the story of Henry, 68. He kept a bottle of aspirin in his kitchen drawer because his doctor once told him it could be a lifesaver. One morning he felt crushing pressure in his chest and weakness in his arms. He immediately called for help, grabbed the aspirin, and chewed one tablet while sitting down. Later, his cardiologist told him that this action reduced the severity of the attack and preserved more of his heart muscle. If you're not allergic and aren't already on medication that makes aspirin unsafe, keeping a few tablets handy is one of the smartest precautions you can take. Store them in multiple places, your nightstand, your purse, your wallet, so you don't waste time searching. Check the expiration dates regularly, and if all you have is coated aspirin, chew it anyway. In emergencies, speed matters more than comfort. Once you've called for help and taken aspirin, the most important thing you can do for your body is stop moving. Sit or lie down. Don't try to gather belongings. Don't pace the room. Don't think about tidying up or preparing for the hospital. Every unnecessary movement puts additional strain on your already struggling heart. The safest position is sitting upright with your back supported, feet flat on the ground, and arms relaxed. This helps reduce the workload on your heart and makes breathing easier. If you feel faint, lie down on your side with your head slightly elevated. Avoid slumping forward in a way that compresses your chest or makes breathing harder. It may feel strange, even uncomfortable, to do nothing while you wait, but make no mistake, stillness in this moment is a powerful act. It slows your breathing, conserves your energy, and keeps your body focused on survival. At this point, if you still feel steady enough, take one more small but potentially life-saving action. Unlock your front door. It may seem like a small detail, but in an emergency, every second counts. Paramedics can and will break down doors if they need to, but forcing entry takes time and can even cause injury if you're nearby. By unlocking the door in advance, you make it easier for help to reach you instantly. Think about what this means. Instead of paramedics spending an extra minute figuring out how to get inside, they walk straight to you. That 1 minute could mean less damage to your heart, or even prevent death. If you live alone, especially in an apartment or gated community, think ahead. Make sure your address is visible. Consider giving a trusted neighbor or relative a spare key. or install a smart lock or medical lockbox so responders can get in quickly. Preparation today can save your life tomorrow. Once you're settled and waiting, your phone becomes more than just a way to call for help. It becomes your lifeline. Switch your call to speaker mode. This allows you to keep breathing calmly without the strain of holding a phone to your ear. It also lets emergency dispatchers hear background sounds, like changes in your breathing that can help them assess your condition. Even more importantly, take a few minutes, today not during a crisis, to set up your phone's medical ID. On most smartphones, this information is accessible from the lock screen and can tell paramedics vital details if you're unconscious. Include your age, medical conditions, medications, allergies, and at least one emergency contact. This small step gives responders critical information that can shape your care. Finally, as you wait, there's one last tool you still have: your breath. Panic is natural during a heart attack. Your chest is tight, your mind is racing, and fear makes your heart beat faster. But letting panic take over can worsen the situation. Controlled breathing, on the other hand, can help calm your nervous system and keep your heart from spiraling into dangerous rhythms. You don't need a complicated technique. Simply inhale slowly through your nose for about 4 seconds, hold it briefly, then exhale gently through your mouth for about 6 seconds. Repeat this rhythm. Focus on the flow of air rather than the fear. This anchors your mind, steadies your body, and can give your heart just enough stability until help arrives. Some survivors later say that focusing on their breath gave them a sense of control in the most helpless moment of their lives. It won't fix the blockage in your arteries, but it can buy you precious time. When we put all these steps together, a pattern emerges. Surviving a heart attack alone isn't about luck. It's about preparation and calm, deliberate action. Recognize the early signs. Call emergency services immediately. Chew aspirin if you can. Stop moving and conserve your strength. Unlock the door so help can reach you faster. Use your phone's tools wisely, and steady your breathing to keep panic from pushing your heart over the edge. Each of these actions may seem small, but together they create a powerful chain of survival. They give you something rare in a moment that feels powerless: control. So take a moment to reflect. Which of these steps surprised you? Which one do you realize you hadn't prepared for? Is your phone set up with medical information? Do you keep aspirin within easy reach? Do your loved ones know where to find your spare key if they need it? Preparation doesn't take long, but it can make all the difference. And if this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your parents, your siblings, your friends, or anyone you care about. Because the truth is, this knowledge might not only save your life one day, it might save theirs. Thank you for staying with me today. Your attention and your willingness to learn could one day be the reason you survive the unimaginable. If you found this message valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it so more people can be informed and prepared. Your support keeps us motivated to continue creating content that informs, empowers, and inspires. Stay safe, take care of your heart, and remember, even in the loneliest moment of crisis, you are never truly powerless.